Sports School is brought to you by BASF and Pride Seeds.
Bern Tobin here for RealAgriculture.com, joined today by Peter Johnson, Wheat Pete, the resident agronomist. Sir, welcome to the show and thanks for coming over.
No, great. Good to see you, Bern.
Awesome.
Absolutely. I like it. Yep.
Now, we're going to talk a little bit about wheat in a few minutes. The soybean crop's advancing, and that gets a sparkle in your eye because wheat is not too far behind.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But first, I want to talk about Neonic and neonicotinoid treated seed for 2016. You up for that?
Oh yeah, but Bern, you're just like everybody else. Wheat always takes the back seat to corn and soybeans, the crops that don't matter. But if we really must, then neonicotinoids it is.
Okay. So, we're going to talk specifically about 2016 and what farmers need to be doing this fall to plant neonic treated seed in the spring. So let's go back up for just a second, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, the government wants to reduce the use of neonics by 80%.
Right.
But for 2016, you have the ability to plant 50% of your acreage to neonicotinoid treated seeds, corn and soybeans, right?
Yeah, if you fill out the seed declaration, that's right. So it's not all at once go from essentially zero reduction to a full 80% reduction is the target. The first step is 50% that they're hopefully going to achieve. That's right.
Now you've got a declaration, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do have the declaration here, and that's what you need to fill out. There are really 4 different options. The first option would be to do absolutely nothing and plant only fungicide treated seed, no insecticide whatsoever. So that's an option. If you don't have a pest issue, then that's okay. The second option, so there are other insecticides out there that are not considered class 12s. They're not neonics. The one in particular is Fortenza. Some companies will be treating seed with Fortenza for either the 50% that is not neonic treated or for 100% of your seed if that's what you want. 2 things about the active ingredients in Fortenza: not as broad spectrum, not as good a control as the neonics. I mean, one thing about the neonics is they've really done a super job in terms of insect control, and over time they've certainly become reasonably priced. So Fortenza will cost about $20 a bag more than the neonics, which is $8 an acre, and won't give you quite as good a control and doesn't really bring much to the table for soybeans. So that's really a corn thing. But still, that's option 2 would be Fortenza from at least some companies. Option 3 is we fill out the seed declaration form, and all that we have to do to fill out the seed declaration form is list our properties, list our acreages, and essentially say our total acreage on corn adds up to 1,000. We're going to buy 500 acres or less worth of neonic treated seed. Our soybean acres add up to 800. We're going to plant 400 acres or less of neonic treated soybean seed. Away you go. You can't plant all your corn acreage to neonic treated seed and none of your soybeans. It doesn't work that way. It's 50% corn, 50% soybeans, but that's option 3, and it's pretty simple. I mean, the form's a little bit hard to figure out, but we'll get through that, and the seed declaration form gets you there.
Yeah. Now, option 4, pest assessment. Talk about what farmers need to do this fall from a pest assessment scouting perspective.
Absolutely. So pest assessment, we have to fill out a different form. Again, list all your properties, and you have to scout every property to a maximum of 100 acres. So if you have a 200-acre block, you have to treat it as 2 separate pieces, or even a 120-acre block. The size of the parcel that you do the pest assessment on can't exceed 100 acres. And if it's a 20-acre field, you have to do it separately from the other 80-acre field that's over there. And you have to go out and scout. Now the farmer can do that himself and self-declare this fall. He goes out, he digs 5 holes, put in 5 bait stations or more than that. And Tracy Bowdy, by the way, has an excellent video which we should link to that tells people how to scout. So we won't cover that, but you scout yourself. You either bury the bait stations or you do the digs for white grubs. We're looking for an average of 1 wireworm or 2 white grubs per bait station or per dig that we do. So if for example I go to my first bait station that I buried, I dig it up, I sort through it, I find 5 wireworms, I don't have to dig up any more because it's an average of 1 per per scouting location. They have to be 10 meters apart. But at the end of the day, the scouting is not too tough, and the farmer can do it themselves, and as long as they are above threshold in every field, then they can go above 50%.
Up to 80.
Actually up to 100.
Up to 100?
There's no real limit if you have the pest pressure.
Right.
So that's sort of the situation for 2016. They go out, they do the pest assessment, they fill out the pest assessment form instead. Bob's your uncle.
What about the verification of the pest assessment? Now, you've been talking to your friends at the ministry. What are they telling you about verifying those?
Yeah, so this fall, they absolutely are busy doing other things, and it's really not very feasible for them to know when Bern Tobin, the farmer, is going out to scout his fields and going out to dig up those things. So there really won't be any verification of the scouting technique. It just can't happen at this point. It is an offense under the Act to provide false information, but there will be no verification on the scouting that the grower does, just because it doesn't make sense for it to happen that way.
So farmers are on the honor system this fall.
Absolutely. Farmers are on the honor system this fall.
Final thing. Those forms, you had to do a little hunting to find them. Tell us about where they are and how farmers can access them.
Yeah, so these forms, they're both up on the website. It's Omafra/Neonics, but they're not as easy to find as I think they should be. So I really hope that they change that and make it so you just go to Omafra/Neonics and there's a button right there that says forms, and you press on that and you get there. That's not the way it is right now, but you can follow the link on the screen and get to these forms. Decide which one you want to fill out, and away you go.
Awesome, awesome. Well, there you have it, folks. Wheat Pete's word on neonics.